Okay, let's dive in. There are some numbers, right? They just feel huge, monumental, like,
Mhm.
running a marathon maybe, or maybe more relevant for us, saving $1 million.
Yeah, that one definitely feels big.
It sounds like something, reserved for the super rich, maybe only in movies. But what if? What if the path to that number wasn't some big secret?
What if it was actually, well, surprisingly doable?
Exactly. And that's kind of the core idea we pulled from our source for this deep dive.
Right. We've been looking at excerpts from The Wealth Flow Show, specifically an episode called How to Save $1 Million, a step-by-step plan that actually works.
Yeah, featuring the host, Emma Riley, talking with a certified financial planner, Leo Thomas.
Mhm.
And our mission here is really just to unpack the specific plan they talked about, get right to the actionable stuff you can actually use.
Cut through the noise.
Because they make it clear reaching $1 million isn't just about, like, having a massive bank balance. It's framed as a way to generate real passive income.
Leo Thomas mentioned, what, $40,000 to $50,000 a year from that invested million?
Yeah. Which they argue isn't just hoarding cash, it's actually a path to freedom, lifestyle freedom.
And that figure, it's powerful because it connects the number to something tangible,
Mm.
income, your money working for you.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting in the source is how simple, relatively speaking, the approach is. It's grounded in consistency.
And not just saving, right? They emphasize investing, making wealth work.
Exactly. It's about leveraging growth.
Okay, so using their conversation as our guide, we'll trace their points. We'll start with the why this goal even matters,
Good place to start.
then walk through the actual 7-step process the planner laid out, touch on the common mistakes people make.
The pitfalls, yeah.
They covered those too.
And then wrap up with the final kind of empowering advice they offered, all pulled straight from their discussion, stats, rules, everything.
And they really did put that why right at the beginning. It's fundamental. Totally. The source makes it clear $1 million isn't just some random number. Invested properly, it could throw off that 40K, 50K a year.
Like clockwork, ideally.
Yeah, it's building a financial engine, not just a pile of cash.
And the connection they make right away is to lifestyle freedom. That really resonates. It's not just numbers. It's about funding the life you actually want.
Okay, so that brings us to the very first step in their plan. Before touching any money, before strategy, the planner says you have to get clear on your why.
Right. Connect emotionally. What's your reason? Early retirement, family support, buying back time.
The specific why doesn't matter as much as having one that's really meaningful to you.
Yeah, because that's the fuel, isn't it? For the discipline.
And the consistency, which, as they point out, you definitely need over the long term.
And consistency is crucial because step 2 is pretty intense. Eliminate high-interest debt.
Oh, yeah, they were really strong on this. Credit card debt especially called it wealth poison.
Strong words.
The advice is basically attack anything over, say, 6-7% interest aggressively. They mention things like the debt avalanche or snowball methods.
Different ways to tackle it, yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, get rid of it.
And they did address that common question, do I wait until all debt is gone before I even think about investing?
And the answer was,
No, definitely not. They recommended starting small investments while you're paying down the debt, finding a balance.
okay, that makes sense. Don't put your future completely on hold.
Right. So once you're tackling that debt, maybe starting small investments, the real engine kicks in. Step 3, compound interest.
Ah, the magic bullet, supposedly.
Well, they frame it as where the magic happens. Yeah, it's critical.
And they had that great example, didn't they? To make it concrete.
The $400 a month one? Yeah,
Mhm.
if a 25-year-old invests just $400 a month.
You do something like a broad market index fund, getting average returns, say 8% a year,
By age 65, they could have over $1 million.
just from $400 a month.
It's amazing. The host pointed out that's less than lots of people spend on, daily coffee and lunch runs.
Exactly. It reframes it, doesn't it? Makes it seem much less impossible.
It shows that time and consistency are the real keys, not necessarily starting with a huge amount.
Powered by compounding, yeah.
Hmm.
The earlier you start, the less heavy lifting you have to do each month.
Okay, so we've got the why, tackling debt, understanding compounding. Step 4 feels like the bit people often dread, budget and track every dollar.
Yeah, the B word. But the source clarifies it's not about painful restriction. It's about awareness.
You can't direct your money if you don't know where it's going now. Makes sense.
They mentioned tools like budgeting apps, YNAB, Mint, every dollar, practical stuff.
And they gave that simple rule to start with, the 50-30-20 rule.
Right. 50% for needs, 30% for wants.
And that crucial 20% for saving and investing.
It's a guideline, obviously. You adjust it, but it's a solid starting point.
Okay, so you've got the budget framework. Step 5 is about making it actually happen reliably. Automate your investing.
Yes, this is so important. Take the decision out of it each month.
Set up those automatic transfers to your Roth IRA, your 401k, those tax-advantaged accounts.
Or just straight into the index funds they mentioned. Set it and forget it, basically.
Reduces the chance of procrastinating or, spending the money on something else.
And they made a really important distinction here, too. Saving versus investing.
Yeah, people mix those up.
Saving is about safety, accessibility, keeping money protected. Investing is about growth, putting it to work.
And the source was clear. You won't hit $1 million just saving in a bank account, right? You need that investment growth.
Absolutely. Need a market's potential over the long term.
All right, so step 6 moves beyond just managing current money. This one feels powerful. Increase income, not just cut expenses.
This is a great point they made. It goes beyond just cutting lattes.
Which helps, but only gets you so far.
Exactly. There's a limit to how much you can cut, but your earning potential, theoretically, much higher.
They suggested things like side hustles, freelancing, learning high-income skills.
Selling digital products, yeah.
Yeah.
Investing in yourself.
They paired it with that crucial warning, avoid lifestyle creep.
Oh, yeah. Don't just spend every raise.
Invest the extra income instead. Don't let your spending just expand to fill the space.
Very important discipline there.
Okay, and finally, step 7. This kind of underpins everything. Stay consistent for 10, 30 years.
Consistency is king. That's what the source called it.
Yeah. They basically said most millionaires weren't lucky. They just stuck to a plan, didn't give up.
The market goes up, it goes down.
But if you keep contributing regularly month after month, year after year, you stay on track.
They even gave those time estimates. Like $500 a month might take around 35 years at 8%.
$1,000 a month, maybe 27 years. $1,500 around 22. $2,000, maybe 19 years.
So it shows how increasing the amount, if you can, speeds things up. But starting early is key too.
And they really pushed back on needing a huge salary to start. You need the strategy, the commitment.
Right, and sticking to it means avoiding those common traps, which
Oh.
they also talked about.
The pitfalls. Yeah, like that lifestyle creep we just mentioned. Spending every raise.
Skipping months of investing was another big one. Kills the compounding momentum.
Trying to time the market.
Yeah.
Big no-no, according to them.
Just constantly buying and selling based on headlines or hunches. Their advice was simple. Stay invested. Consistently.
And chasing hot tips. Forget it. Stick to diversified stuff like index funds.
Less exciting, maybe, but more reliable.
There's also that point about checking your portfolio obsessively.
Right. The host suggested it doesn't help, and the planner agreed. Your money working should feel kind of boring.
Set it up, automate it, let it do its thing.
Which leads nicely into their final advice,
Hmm.
which felt really grounding.
It did. Really simple but powerful. First, don't compare yourself to others.
So easy to do, especially online.
But the only useful comparison, they argued, is you today versus you yesterday. Focus on your progress.
And they really stressed the amount you start with. It matters way less than just building the habit.
Start with $5, $20, whatever. Just start. Build that savings and investing muscle.
Get the ball rolling.
And maybe the most, reassuring bit. Wealth isn't built in giant leaps. It's small, consistent steps over time.
No lottery ticket required.
Exactly. So, wrapping up this deep dive into that Wealth Flow Show episode, the core message seems to be that saving $1 million, it's not some impossible dream.
It's presented as a concrete plan, achievable through discipline, consistency, and patience.
We walk through their 7 steps. Nailing your why, killing high-interest debt while still starting to invest, harnessing compound interest.
That $400 a month example really sticks.
Yeah. Then budgeting with something like 50-30-20, automating your investments.
Increasing income, not just cutting back.
And just staying consistent for the long haul. 10, 20, 30 years.
And remembering the pitfalls, lifestyle creep, inconsistency, market timing, avoid those. Patience is key.
So that final advice resonates. Ditch comparisons, focus on your progress, start small to build the habit, and trust the small steps.
Which leaves us with, I guess, a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on, based on what we've unpacked from this source.
If building wealth really is about starting small and staying consistent, as they argue,
What's the very first, maybe tiny step you could take today, right now? Based on the plan we just explored, what's that first small action?